Hello, everyone. Welcome to Celsius 233, your go-to place for fiction book summaries. Today, we will embark on a journey through The Death of Ivan Ilych by Leo Tolstoy. The Death of Ivan Ilych by Leo Tolstoy, first published in 1886, is a profound exploration of life, death, and existential reflection. The novella centers on the gradual deterioration and eventual death of Ivan Ilych, a high-ranking judge in 19th century Russia. It portrays the seemingly ordinary life of Ivan, which is disrupted by a terminal illness that forces him to confront the superficiality of his existence and grapple with the deeper meaning of life and mortality. Plot summary: Ivan Ilych Golovin lived a life that many would call ordinary, but in its ordinariness lay an unseen tragedy. A respected judge and a man who took pride in living by the expectations of his social class, Ivan's life was defined by duty, decorum, and ambition. He was a man who did everything right according to society's standards, rising steadily through the ranks of the judicial system, marrying a woman from a good family, and ensuring his home and life were perfectly aligned with the values he upheld. But Ivan's life, outwardly perfect, was inwardly hollow. His marriage to Praskovia Fedorovna, once full of polite affection, became a source of bitterness. The early charm between them eroded as the demands of family life grew, particularly with the arrival of their children. Ivan retreated into his work, finding solace in the structured and impersonal world of the law courts, where he could exercise his power and authority without emotional entanglement. Life proceeded in this unremarkable, mechanical way until, one day, something happened that shattered the routine of Ivan Ilych's existence. While arranging the curtains in his new home, a home he had painstakingly designed to reflect his success and taste, Ivan slipped and injured his side. At first, it seemed trivial, just a bump that left a bruise. But the pain lingered, a dull, persistent ache that grew with time. Ivan visited doctors, men of his class who spoke with the same detached professionalism that he himself wielded in court. They discussed symptoms, offered diagnoses that varied, and prescribed treatments with an air of confidence that did little to soothe his growing anxiety. Beneath their clinical assurances, Ivan felt a chilling realization. Something was terribly, irreversibly wrong. As the pain worsened, creeping from his side to fill his entire existence, Ivan began to grapple with a reality he had never confronted: the inevitability of death. He could no longer escape into work or social niceties. His colleagues, like Peter Ivanovich, spoke of him in the past tense before he was even gone, more concerned with the practicalities of his death than its tragedy. Even his wife, Praskovia, seemed distant, fixated on securing her financial future rather than offering him comfort. Their marriage had long been loveless, and now, in his greatest moment of need, it became painfully clear that he was utterly alone. The only person who treated Ivan with genuine care was Gerasim, the young peasant who attended to him during his illness. Gerasim's simple acceptance of death, his willingness to sit by Ivan's bedside and ease his suffering without fear or disgust, stood in stark contrast to the indifference of the people in Ivan's social circle. Gerasim would lift Ivan's legs, alleviating the unbearable pain, and in those moments, Ivan found a strange solace. The young man's uncomplaining presence hinted at a truth Ivan had never understood. Life's meaning was not found in power, status, or conformity, but in human connection and compassion. As Ivan's physical condition deteriorated, so did his mental state. His thoughts turned inward, swirling in a vortex of fear and confusion. Why was this happening to him? He had lived his life as he was supposed to. He had been dutiful, respectable, and successful. But as death loomed closer, Ivan realized that his life had been a lie, a series of empty gestures designed to meet societal expectations rather than personal fulfillment. This agonizing self-awareness came to Ivan during sleepless nights filled with the gnawing pain that no medicine could dull. He began to scream in torment, not just from the physical agony, but from the existential terror of realizing that he had lived wrongly. His family, uncomfortable and helpless in the face of his suffering, avoided him as much as possible, leaving Ivan to face the approach of death alone. In his final days, Ivan experienced a profound transformation. As death became an undeniable reality, he stopped resisting it. His mental anguish, which had consumed him, gave way to a strange clarity. He began to see his life for what it had been, a superficial pursuit of status, devoid of love or real purpose. The fear that had gripped him began to dissolve, replaced by a quiet acceptance. In his last moments, as his wife and children stood around his bed, Ivan's thoughts shifted from his own suffering to theirs. He saw the fear in their eyes, the discomfort they felt at the sight of his death, and suddenly he felt pity for them. They too were living the same false life he had led, unaware of the truths he had discovered too late. In a moment of final revelation, Ivan understood that the key to life was not to resist death, but to embrace it with love and compassion. With this realization, the physical pain that had tormented him for months began to fade. He looked around at his family, forgave them silently, and felt, for the first time, a sense of peace. Death is finished, he thought. It is no more. In the stillness that followed, Ivan Ilych slipped away, his face serene, as if in his dying moments he had discovered the secret that had eluded him throughout his life. He had feared death, but in the end, he saw it not as an enemy, but as a release from the falsehoods that had bound him. And with that understanding came the peace he had sought all along. Hope you had fun. There's more where that came from. Explore other books by Leo Tolstoy. Find them below or search Celsius 233. Remember, while our summaries capture the essence, they can never replace the full experience of reading the book. If this summary intrigued you, consider diving into the complete story, buy the book, and immerse yourself in Leo Tolstoy's original work. Bye-bye, take care, have fun.